Hello everyone, welcome back to another video from Space Arcade. I'm Shiril, an astronomer from Space Arcade. In this video, we're going to learn how to use the Space Launcher 60mm Refractor Telescope. Without any further delay, let's go into the video. So the Space Launcher 60mm telescope comes with a doublet lens which gives you a clear view without any color observation. It comes with a fork mount and it is a metal mount, so it gives you a stable image when you're observing celestial objects. Stable image is very important for us, and it is also comes with a aluminum tripod, so it is lightweight, so you can carry around when you want to travel along with your telescope. So this is a beginner level telescope. It can be used by kids, adults, anyone. So with this telescope you can see planets, moon, any objects you want to see, terrestrial objects like birds, trees, nearby buildings. So it can be used for multiple purposes. So let's learn the parts of the telescopes. So this is the important part of the telescope. It's OTA, optical tube assembly. So you have the lens in the front, and the other parts like a diagonal is there, which helps you to change the orientation of your view. And you have the finder scope. I'll show you the finder scope. This is the finder scope. It's a small telescope fixed upon your main tube. So I'll tell you the need for this finder scope. And this is the focuser. It's also an important part. It helps you to change the focus from one object to another. So it gives you the option of focusing the object sharp. And next part is the mount part. So this is the part which holds the tube and your tripod. And you can see the tripod here. So it's an extendable tripod. You can raise the height and decrease the height according to your need. And we have the accessory tray. In this accessory tray you can keep your eyepieces, other things whichever it's needed for you. So we have three eyepieces with this telescope: 20mm, 12.5mm, 4mm. Three eyepieces which we have, which gives you three different magnifications. And we have a Barlow lens along with this, and a erecting eyepiece. And also we have a moon filter along with this package, and also we have a smartphone adapter along with this. So with this smartphone adapter you can capture your videos, photos with this telescope. So let's learn the movements of the telescope. So this telescope is called an all-task telescope. So this, when you loosen this knob, it moves in up and down. So the up and down motion is called alt motion. And we have another knob here. If you loosen it, you can move the telescope left and right. So this is azimuth motion, sideways motion. So loosening both knobs, alt and azimuth knob, you can move your telescope to your desired object. So you loosen the knob, you point the telescope towards your desired object. So before starting our observation, let's have a checklist of what are the things which we need to check. So always check whether you have opened the dust cap. People make this mistake of leaving the dust cap on and try to see the object. So you have to remove the dust cap and check whether you have put the diagonal. And always remember, you should put the lower powered eyepiece, that is the 20mm eyepiece. So you will get 3 eyepiece with this telescope, so you have to put the 20mm one. So 20mm gives you a wider view, so it is easier to find an object initially when you start your observation. So I'll put the 20mm eyepiece. So I've connected the finder scope, so that is very important thing. And whatever accessories which you need for the observation, you should be keep it ready with the telescope. Let's learn how to do the finder scope calibration. So there is a small telescope on top of this bigger tube. So the use of this finder scope is to find an object faster. So when I try to point something with this telescope, slightly far away object, I might find difficulty in pointing it because it's giving me a zoom of 35x 40x zoom. So I'll find difficulty to point object in the sky. I'm not able to find the object in the ground easily because I have a reference point, like I can point this building or nearby tree or something like that easily because I have a reference point. But in the sky in the night time, you'll find difficulty pointing these objects. So that's why we need this finder scope. So finder scopes is a smaller telescope with a less zoom. So what you do, you align your finder scope towards the same area that your eyepiece is pointing, your telescope is pointing. So I'm just randomly pointing an object now. I'll choose stationary objects. Always try to do the finder scope alignment in the evening time. Always begin your observation also in the evening time, because directly don't use the telescope in the night time. This is the mistake done by beginners. So they directly use the telescope in the night time. So I will recommend to use the telescope in the evening time around 4:30, 5 o'clock when the sun is down. So you can try to point the terrestrial objects like buildings, towers, something like that. So to do the finder scope calibration, I'm using a building, nearby building. So what I'll do, as we have learned about the alt and azimuth knob, I'll loosen the knobs. I'll try to point the object roughly with my tube. So what I'm doing, I'm not using the finder scope or the diagonal. I'm just going behind the telescope and trying to put the tube in line with the object I'm trying to point. So I'm trying to point a board on the building there. So my telescope tube is almost there. Then I'll go and see through the eyepiece. So I'm not seeing the object. What I'll do, slightly I'll move I'll keep my eyes there. I'll slightly move left and right. So I'm somewhat seeing an object now, but it's not focused. So I'm seeing a blurry image now. So what will I do? I'll use the focuser. So there is a wheel kind of thing here. So you will adjust the focuser. You can move it in and out and keep your eye there. So I'll move it. Okay. So now I'm seeing a focused image, sharp image. So our first important task is to get a sharp image now. So I get the sharp image. I'll lock my alt and azimuth knobs so that telescope doesn't move from the object. So once I've locked both the knobs, I'll go and see through the finder scope now. Am I seeing the same object which is seen in the eyepiece? So when I see through here, my object is slightly towards the right side. So you will see a crosshair. So you will see the view and there will be two lines in the finder scope. So our task is to bring the same object in the finder scope as the eyepiece. So what I'll do, I'll go and see. There are three screws given on the top of this finder scope. So what we have to do, we have to adjust the screws in a way that it moves up and down, left and right. It brings the object, same object in the center as our eyepiece. So once we attain that, so you are seeing the the object in the center of the finder scope on the eyepiece also. So your finder scope is calibrated now. So you can use the finder scope to point any objects now. So wherever you point your finder scope, you will find this object in the eyepiece. So this is how you do the finder scope calibration. Very important thing you need to do every time when you start your observation. Finder scope calibration is very important thing. It should be done in any kind of telescope you use. Finder scope calibration is very important. It makes your observation even faster. You don't need to go and search the object in the whole area. Once you've done the finder scope calibration as close as possible, you can easily point any object in the ground, the sky very easily. As we have done the finder scope calibration, we can move on to the next part. So that is target practicing. So always do this practicing in the evening time around 5:30, 5 o'clock, 5:30, because you have the daylight but not the sun in the sky. You can practice with the terrestrial objects like the ground objects, be it the tower, buildings, uh, birds. So you can try with the terrestrial objects. So never, I'm just being cautious, never use the telescope and point the telescope to sun. It's very dangerous, it will damage your eyes. Never point the telescope towards the sun. So be cautious about this. Always use a proper solar filter whenever you want to observe sun. So what objects can I point other than terrestrial objects? So once you get an hang of how to use the telescope, the movements of the telescope, you can point to moon. So moon is a very good target. So you can point moon. Once you get how to point the moon, then you can move on to planets and other objects in the sky. So this is how you start your observation and practice your telescope. So I recommend to use a telescope for at least a week in the evening time to get a hang of how the telescope movement is there, how to do the FINDERSCOPE calibration. You gradually you understand the movements. So next part, we'll learn how to magnify an image. So I'm seeing an object now. I want to magnify it more. I want to zoom it more. How do I do it? So you have the 20mm eyepiece. I'm seeing one object now. With the 20mm eyepiece, I can see one object. I want to zoom it more. So what you do, you point the same object, take out the eyepiece, and without moving the telescope, I'm putting the 12.5mm eyepiece and see the object. The object is there, but I'm seeing a blurry image. Why? Because if I change the eyepiece, I have to change the focus also. So always remember that whenever you change the eyepiece, you will change the focus also. So you change it, so I can see a magnified view and a focused view. So from 12.5 you can go to 4mm. The number lesser than number it goes, the more zoomer it, the more magnified view you get. The view also get slightly narrower. So always try with 20mm, gradually go to the other eyepieces. So I want to zoom in more now. What I'll do, I'll use a Barlow lens now. So Barlow lens is nothing but a zoom magnifier lens. So it will be used as a combination with your eyepiece. So what I'll do, I'll take the Barlow lens, I'll remove the diagonal now and put the Barlow lens first. So on top of it, I'll put the diagonal now. So this is how you use the Barlow lens. So it will give you a 3 times magnified view. So this is a 3x Barlow lens. So it will give you 3 times magnification of your view. So it can be used with all 3 eyepieces. So next accessory which we have is the erecting eyepiece. So I'll tell you the use of this erecting eyepiece. Similar to Barlow lens, you have to remove the diagonal again. So you will put the erecting eyepiece there. So in this, you won't use the diagonal. So while using the erecting eyepiece, you should never use the diagonal. And put the eyepiece, your 20mm eyepiece directly on the erecting eyepiece. So what is the use of this erecting eyepiece? So erecting eyepiece gives you a actual view. So all telescope has some property that it will invert image. Some telescope will invert upside down, some will invert left to right. So this telescope gives you a left to right view. So to change the view to the actual view, like a actual orientation, we can put the erecting eyepiece and observe the objects. So I can observe the text or anything in the same orientation it is there. So this erecting eyepiece is only useful when you're observing terrestrial objects. So you can't point this erecting eyepiece to a celestial object like a moon or a planet. So it's only useful for terrestrial viewing. With this telescope, you will also get a moon filter. So the use of this moon filter is to reduce the glare of the moon and to see the fainter part of the moon. It is not a important lens, but it is an optional lens which can be used when you observe moon. So how do you use the moon filter? So you can screw the moon filter at the bottom of your eyepiece. It can be used with all 3 eyepieces. It can be screwed at the metal part, you can see can be screwed like this and inserted similar to your normal viewing. So you will see a greenish moon now. So the brightness of the moon will be slightly reduced and you can see the fainter part of the moon. So it is an optional filter. You can see the difference like with filter and without the filter also you can observe. And you have a very good accessory which comes along with the telescope. It's a smartphone adapter. It's a universal smartphone adapter which gives you a option of capturing whatever you see through the eyepiece. Like you can capture the terrestrial objects, you can capture moon, planets, anything with the smartphone adapter. We'll make another video about how to use the smartphone adapter. It is given in the manual, but we'll make another video. It will be in the description of this video. So with this, we come to the end of this video. So today we learned how to use a space launcher 60mm refractor telescope. Hope you like the video. So do subscribe to this YouTube channel. We regularly post videos, such similar videos, and you can write your thoughts in the comment section, like whatever telescope you want to be reviewed. Or so if you want to learn about some other telescope models, you can write that model in the comment section. We'll make a video for that also. For event related posts and astronomy related news, we regularly post on our social media pages on Instagram and WhatsApp channels. You can follow them. You will get regular update on there. That's all from my side. We'll see you in another video. Happy hunting and clear skies.